if God controls our moral decisions, who controls his? Well, how do you get that, Randy? Listen, you're made in the image of God. Everything we know about God, we know it from ourselves. We don't know anything about God other than that. You know, the list of things that we can know just from looking at nature, according to Paul in Romans, are three things. You know? But God is in charge of the universe, and God governs, and that. But he's not a tame lion. And I think when we tell our children that God is, we only tell them that God loves them and God will give them anything they want, and they can live, and God's only concerned about their happiness. You know, when things go bad, they will leave him. They will depart, because that's the way you trained them. You know, when you see all these church kids falling away, I mean, it's 99% right now. 99% of the children that go into public school leave. 99%. So we have to keep that in mind, and that's the way we train them. They say, well, what should we do? Well, I mean, the Bible's got all kinds of things. You know, it says, first Psalm. You all know the first Psalm, right? How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. Where can you go somewhere and find, people that are wicked and sinners and scoffers? You know, go to a university campus or somewhere. That's where you'll find them. You know, in fact, it's gotten so bad in now that big financial institutions are pulling their money out of the universities. Harvard University has lost millions and millions of dollars. I think billions. They've lost billions because of the students there mocking God and marching protests against Israel, you know. And I'm just amazed with it, you know, what is Israel supposed to do? You know, if they're attacked, and I was wondering, I was on the news again the other day, you know, if somebody attacked, you know, when they attacked and they killed 3,000 people in New York City, Bush flattened Afghanistan for that. And we don't pay any attention to that. I say, well, but Israel can't do that. If you go into Israel and you kill thousands of people, Israel is not allowed to respond. Why? Why? What makes that right or wrong? If the Palestinians attack Israel, they have a right to respond. Now I said, well, they can only respond this much. You know, well, how do you figure that? Who measures that? You know, I know everybody right now, especially because the media, is saying Israel has over-responded. Again, who says it's an over-response or not enough or too much or whatever? Who's the one that makes that decision? You know, if you don't want to be attacked by a bigger or more powerful country than you are, then don't attack them. You know. And if you're not old enough yet, and you get a little older, you're going to understand that, like in the wars we're seeing right now, who is responsible for those? Well, who's funded it? Who funds the war in Iraq? in Ukraine? Who's funding the war in Israel? We are. That's right. America is. You say, well, I didn't fund it. No, that. You didn't vote for it. I didn't vote for it. And America is supposed to be based on voting. People, it's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So who is the one that's funding the terrorists? Well, you know, the ruling classes in Washington, D.C., and in California, and in Europe are funding it. And they're same thing, they're funding the war in Ukraine. And so I was listening to Metaxas this morning, driving in my car. I turned it off. When the kids get in there, I turn it off because it gets to be overwhelming. But, you know, the visitor he had on, they were talking about it and saying, you know, you have two bad actors, two really bad countries, two of them listed